Coming up on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports, the top players the Minnesota Vikings can trade for this offseason. My name is Patrick Siepman. Welcome into today's show. This is a fun one. This is 5 blockbuster names that would definitely improve this roster immediately. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all 5. Going to be a fun video today, so buckle up. But if you guys want the Vikings to make a splash move, this offseason, just like today's video, get the good mojo going, get the good vibes going. And maybe Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, for some reason, sitting on his phone and he's watching us and he sees this and he's like, oh, wow, we got 1,000 likes. These fans want to splash this offseason. Hold my beer, watch this. So hit that like button, lock us in, and show some support here on the channel. But the number one Vikings trade target we're talking about today is the quarterback from the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. And listen, this is an interesting one because I think it's becoming more and more clear that the Bears are going to draft Caleb Williams. I think they're going to take him at number 1. I don't think they're trading that pick unless they get an absolute haul. Like I'm talking 3 to 4 first-round picks. But I do think Justin Fields will be on the trading block, and maybe it could make sense, for the Vikings to go out and get him because, there is uncertainty around Kirk Cousins if he's coming back and if he will be the quarterback. And maybe you don't love any of the other options besides Drake May and Caleb Williams in this year's draft class. A guy like Justin Fields would be, I'd be willing to roll the die on him. I don't really necessarily believe in him, too much as an NFL quarterback, but he's a young, exciting player. He's an ultimate highlight reel anytime he's on the football field. The only thing is with him, you're going to have to pay him a good amount of money, probably again, that $30 to $35 million a year. It's just what quarterbacks go for. And, with what we've seen from like Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts, those types of quarterback, those dual threat guys, they can get so close. And if they're at their peak, they can get so close to a Super Bowl, but still haven't really seen any of the guys won. Even like a guy like Cam Newton, they always kind of get beat out at the end. So I would be kind of wary on trading for Fields. I'd probably be out on him, but it's definitely a conversation that the Vikings would have. And also, I don't even know if the Bears would want to send him in the division, just have him play Chicago twice a year. But I did want to talk about him. Probably one of the names that would get thrown out there, a lot for the Vikings. But another one, Jonathan Allen, the defensive end for the Washington Commanders. The Commanders got a whole new regime in there right now, and they could be looking to move off a lot of these defensive guys. They were talking about trading Allen at the trade deadline this year, so maybe they could trade him, this offseason. But he's an absolute dog. If you guys have watched the Commanders play, this is a guy that just, He kind of has been the cornerstone of that franchise for a while, and, he actually came out earlier this year and said, he's sick of losing in Washington. He kind of wants to get out of there. So, maybe the Vikings, you want to take a swing on a guy, offer him a third, second-round pick. This would be a great, great option. 5.5 sacks this past season, 53 tackles. He's an absolute stud. He is a stud, and he would be a great addition to this D-line. Vikings need to get better in the trenches, and they just need to get tougher up front. This guy answers both of those questions. So, Jonathan Allen, keep your names on. I'll be jumping for joy if the Vikings would trade for him. Jaire Alexander, let's talk about it. So, there were some trade rumors around Jaire earlier this offseason as he kind of posted something cryptic on his Instagram and Twitter talking about, him finally playing his final days in Green Bay. He was suspended that one game during the year. When he went out for the captain's meeting when he wasn't supposed to. So maybe his tenure in Green Bay could be coming to an end. But there's no doubt that he is one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Dealt with injuries this past season and in 2021. But, man, when he plays, he's fantastic. I mean, he's gotten the best of Jefferson. One of the, 7 times he's played against him. Got the best of him one time. But, he's a hell of a cornerback, man. And he would be a true cornerback one. And, you guys have heard me say it over and over again, Vikings do need a true cornerback one. They need more talent in that secondary group, overall, but they definitely need a true lockdown corner. And a guy like Jaire Alexander is 100% that. Listen, I like Byron Murphy, more of a 2. Same thing with Mekhi Blackman. He's more of a 3 and a 2. Jaire Alexander, though, he is the definition of a 1. He's a guy you can just put on a side of the football field and say, you lock it down. He is that guy. So, listen, I would trade for him, but I give you guys 3 names so far. Give me one. Name a player the Vikings need to trade for this offseason. Let me know your thoughts down below. Get active down in the comment section. But first, I do want to give a big-time shout-out to Game Time, today's sponsor of today's edition of Vikings Now. If you guys had the game, or if you guys download Game Time and use the code VIKINGSCHAT, VIKINGSCHAT. You guys will get $20 off your first purchase. Whether you guys want to see Luke Bryan in Minneapolis, or if you guys want to go check out any Timberwolves games, Wild games, Minnesota, women's or men's basketball games, no matter what it is, get hooked up with Game Time today. Promo code VIKINGSCHAT, VIKINGSCHAT. Use that promo code. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Get it hooked up today. I use Game Time all the time. It's super easy and convenient. Trust me, you guys will think the same. Link for that in the comments and description of today's show. Number 4 on my list, and Trace probably won't like this one, but Marshon Lattimore. The Saints are in cap hell this offseason, so maybe they could be looking to move off a guy like Lattimore. And, hey, I'll tell you what. You said what? So the Saints did restructure his contract to make him more tradable, so maybe the Saints are definitely, looking at options for that. And listen, guys, there's no doubt, like Lattimore, in terms of us talking about the Vikings needing to get a true cornerback one, this is that. Like, Marshon Lattimore is no doubt that guy. I'm a big fan of him. Even him and Jefferson, going back and forth back in London a couple years ago, like that was a ton of fun. But I mean, he's an absolute dog, man. And listen, he plays with a sort of like swagger at the cornerback position that I always like. I love seeing the clips of him and Mike Evans, going back and forth. And, I think that's the type of intensity and, kind of mantra the Vikings need in that secondary. Is like they need a guy that kind of has that edge. And Lattimore is the definition of that. Like a true press corner who can literally shut down a side of the football field. He is that guy. So if the Vikings want to make a move for a secondary player, I'm taking Lattimore over Jaire Alexander any day of the week. I've been a big fan of him. I hate, giving all this love to a Saints player, but I'd love to see Lattimore in the purple and gold. I promise you it would work out a whole lot better than Marcus Davenport. No doubt about that. But keep your eyes on Lattimore. He might be doubt. But another guy that could be doubt, and I don't know if it makes too much sense for the Vikings, but it's Mike Williams, wide receiver for the LA Chargers. And I'll tell you what, he only played in 3 games this past season, but in one of those games, he played for half against the Minnesota Vikings. He absolutely dominated. He was cooking Byron Murphy, and then obviously Keenan Allen came on and cooked him. But, I mean, the dude's a dog, big body receiver out of Clemson, and, he's fast, he's big, he's got a great catch radius, he's great at the, point of catch too, really strong hands, and, he's been great. And plus, with this point, Osborne. KJ is most likely gone this offseason. I don't think the Vikings are going to be able to match his asking price. I think actually the Patriots are a dark horse to land him, so he's most likely gone. So maybe Mike Williams, if you want to go trade for a true wide receiver 3, yeah, go for it, but I wouldn't trade for a wide receiver. I think wide receiver is a position in the NFL. You can just take one in the 5th and 6th round, especially where the Vikings are. Like, you have Jefferson, you have Addison. You just need maybe a slot guy or a third option. You can go find that in the 5th or 6th. And, obviously you'd have to pay Mike Williams as well. So I'd probably be out on trading for Mike Williams. I just saw the draft guy in the 5th or 6th round. So I would not trade for him, but definitely a name to, keep your eyes out on. But speaking about trades, front office, do you trust the Vikings front office? Scale it for me, 1 through 10, down in the comment section. I'm probably sitting at like a 5 right now. They've been all right in their 2-year tenure here. But let me know, do you trust the front office? Scale it 1 through 10. As always, guys, I can't talk right now. Thank you guys so much for watching today's show. That was 5 blockbuster trade targets for the Minnesota Vikings. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Lock us in as your go-to Vikings YouTube channel. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.